All right. On Monday, we were talking about the characteristics of the concentration, samadhi, and all forms of samadhi, whether they are at the rudimentary level, that means in the everyday life, or even when you're sleeping, right to the jhana, they all share one characteristics of non-wandering or non-distraction, in the sense that whether it's wholesome or unwholesome, you will hold on to it. Whether it's just neutral, you will just hold on to that. But of course, they changes very fast, that we don't really see them when they are at, especially at a rudimentary level or everyday level. So their nature, their function is to hold all these associate mental states together, so that those associate states can able to function. If it's hold on to the wholesome mental states, then other wholesome mental states can able to do their function. If it's hold on to unwholesome mental states, like when it hold on to restless mind, then the restless mind will do its function. So its nature is to unite the associate mental states together. Now, we also mentioned about, I might as well share the screen. All right. So we were talking about the Samatha practice. And yes. In a Samatha practice, we were talking about there are three types of concentration. Then we have access or neighborhood concentration, and then you have absorption concentration. That is the nature of the concentration. But the nature of the signs or the object of the meditation aspect, then you have the preliminary sign, you have the learning sign, or you have the counterpart sign, or the preliminary object, learning object, or the counterpart object. Tonight, we're going to look into this one a little bit more. Tonight, we're going to look into this one a little bit more, at least to give us an idea how this samatha work. Although a lot of you may not be practicing samatha meditation, or some of you are practicing samatha meditation just for like everyday sort of development, doesn't really want to go further. Well, some want to go even more deeper into the jhana and so on. So we're going to talk about that. So last week, not last week, Monday also I was talking about, well, in the vipassana bhavana, and when you vipassana mental development, then you have this also preliminary concentration. And as I said, that this preliminary concentration, they are before your first insight knowledge. And then when it comes into your Kanika Samadhi, momentary concentration, then it's from the first insight up to the 13th insight knowledge. Then you have Appana Samadhi also, you have absorption concentration or fixed concentration, that it in the path and the fruition consciousness. So these are a bit of understanding of this one. And also I mentioned that in the vipassana concentration, even at the momentary concentration at number 2 here, then there are also in the different level of insight, different factors of jhana are also it's being shown. And I mentioned that just to remind you all, just to, all right, okay. Okay, can you all see again on this one? Now, as I said that day, that the first jhana. When we say the word jhana for vipassana, they are in the sense that they have those jhanic factors. They have those jhanic factors, and as you go higher into the insight knowledge, then the jhanic factors also become less and less, just like a samatha meditation, just like a samatha development. Now, as I said, that in the first jhana of the vipassana, although we don't go into fixed concentration yet, that day I also explained that the word jhana does not always mean fixed concentration. It can also mean meditation as a whole. So here, the knowledge of comprehension, it is where you find the first jhana. And as I said, that in the vipassana meditation, we don't talk about this vipassana jhana that much, because the insight knowledge are more important. And the insight knowledge here is none other than the anicca, dukkha, and anatta. And anicca, dukkha, and anatta is more important than the jhana here and the vipassana jhana. That's why we don't hear it that often. And when we say there's vipassana jhana, sometimes there are monks or nuns, or they are even criticize this also. Because for the first thing is that they don't see that in the text, and where is the sutta mention all these type of things. No, the sutta did not mention these things. This is commentary, first of all. Secondly, that you want to know whether there is actually all this vipassana jhana or all these different factors, then you have to come to this stage. Even you come to this stage also, you don't really understand how the mind works. All you see is only pain, rising, falling, changing here, thinking there. But you don't really know what are the factors of the mind are there. So that's why it is not so, in a way, important in the sense of vipassana. But they are still there. Since we are talking about the jhana, then let us connect it with the insight. So in the third knowledge, the third knowledge is where you find your first vipassana jhana. And the second vipassana jhana is at the 4A, the knowledge of arising and passing away, at the tender knowledge. When at the tender knowledge there, you'll find that joy is there. The joy is quite prominent. And the fourth one, not fourth one, the third jhana. When I say the third jhana is at the 4B. 4B, the knowledge of arising and passing away at this moment of time. At this part here, this part here, it's called purification by way of knowledge of vision, and vision of what is path and not path, and of course by vision of knowledge of the way. Here, in the sense that, right at this juncture here, knowledge of arising and passing away. When you develop further, then the bliss or the pleasant mental feelings becomes an obvious object, a very clear object. With the pleasant object, you see, when the pleasant feelings comes in, this is where the bodily becomes at ease. Mind becomes very balanced. And you are at that stage, this stage, you will find that the mind, that the body is feel good, the mind is you are functioning at optimum level, and you are mentally is very clear, and it's a wonderful stage there. That's why sometimes the Buddha says that that the third insight it's where the noble ones like to stay. But of course, this one, If you are at this stage, you are not noble yet. But at this stage, really, it is felt very comfortable. As long as you don't attach to it, as long as you don't attach to that pleasant feelings and you just be mindful of the pleasant feeling, then you see that the whole mind is in a state of balance. That means equanimity, it's there also in a certain sense. The mind is balanced. So at this 4B, it is interesting. So that is the third Vipassana jhana around this area. Now, when it comes to the fourth jhana, it comes right at its peak at 11th insight knowledge. This is knowledge of equanimity towards formation. Here, the word equanimity, that means the joy also is not there, the sadness also is not there, and then the equanimous feeling and also the mental factor of equanimity are very strong. The mind is very continuous. You can meditate for a long period of time, whether you're walking or sitting, and you will not able to break that easily. Not like when you're when you're meditating. So this is totally a different ball game already right now. So this is interesting. So I've mentioned that. A reason I want to repeat this again because that sometimes people have doubt whether all this jhana thing is connected with the insight or not. It is connected with the insight, but they are not in the sense of fixed concentration, but here is in the sense of momentary concentration. We'll talk about momentary concentration on another day. And okay. And I would like to, as I said, I want to talk about the Samatha. And tonight also a little bit of very technical also. Does it come in? I'm not sure which one are you looking at. I pressed this one, but another thing come out. Is it? Yeah. I press this thing, that thing come out. Okay, right. All right. Okay, let me see. Let me try again. What are you looking at right now? How come I'm looking at different thing? I want to press this, but I want to show you the last week one, on Monday one, but it come out the. Oh, let me exit this first. Okay. Let me go out this and then come in again. Okay, share screen again. Okay, I think this one will work. All right, okay. All right. Now, as I said, sorry. As I said last week, on Monday, then you have this Samatha concentration. In Samatha meditation, you have preliminary concentration, excess concentration, and absorption concentration. Then the object, you have preliminary sign, then you have learning sign, you have counterpart sign. Counterpart sign is just before you enter into jhana. That means the sign, the object becomes very clear, the conceptual object becomes very clear. We call it nimitta. The conceptual become absolutely very clear, but it is not fixed concentration yet. So now you see, this is generally what we have here. But when it comes into the different types of meditation of the vipassana, of the samatha meditation, the preliminary concentration and the excess concentration, most of the time they have these two. Absorption concentration may not be for every form of meditation, may not be for every form of samatha meditation. Okay? object also the same thing, or the nimitta also the same thing. All meditation have preliminary sign and the learning sign, I guess. But the counterpart sign is also optional. It's also optional. Okay. Now we stop sharing and then we go on to another one. To another one. Wait. Let me see. Okay. Can you see the 40 meditation subject? Okay. Okay. Hopefully I'm like. All right. Now, in Samatha meditation, there are 40 meditation subjects. Now, this chart here is to concise everything. Here, first one and the second one here. Later, I will go through a number of it. We go through a number of it just to give you an understanding about what is all this thing. It looks, I mean, the chart looks, but let me go through with you a little bit. You go through a little bit so that we can able to understand at least theoretically on the Samatha meditation. At least on theoretically or generally on the Samatha meditation. Now, the Buddha in the text, in the Sutta, in the Tipitaka, is recommended there are 40 meditation subject for Samatha meditation. Then, in the 40 part of it, then here you see in the Earth Kasina, the first one, then you have already you have 10 types of kasina. Earth, water, fire, air, blue color, yellow color, red color, white color, space, and light. So here, when you say earth kasina, water kasina, fire kasina, air kasina, what you actually do is that you actually use the earth. For example, if it's earth kasina, you actually use earth. That means soil. Then you put it into a plate, a plate wide enough. I forgot the dimension and so on. And then the soil must be completely flat and is free from all the branches or any big sand or small sand. Everything must be very even. The whole plate must be, everything must be very even. So when you take this as the plate there, you use as a plate there, and then you free from all the sand, you free from all the blemishes. Then you sit there, you look at the plate of that earth, or it can be a tray also. It can be a tray as long as it's round. It's round. It's not like you have a square or so on. It has to be round. So a round tray or a round plate. So you look at it. So you look at it. Then during this time, when you look at the object, the object is still under preliminary. PR here is under preliminary. The sign here, the sign means the object. So you have the preliminary object. Okay. Now, during this time, while you are developing it, you can only, this time only at the preliminary concentration. Preliminary concentration, that means when you start off, your mind is still affected, and then your this thing is not clear and so on. So it's still preliminary sign, preliminary concentration. Okay. Now, then you keep on trying. You're able to visualize mentally, Mentally, you begin to able to visualize the plate of that soil, or the plate of the earth, or the tray of earth, the round tray of earth. Now, when you can able to visualize them, okay, when you're able to visualize them in the mind, Then you begin to start on what we call the learning sign. The learning sign. So, but then, as you know, the practice is not stable, and then therefore you still be affected sometimes by your hindrances. And then when you're affected by hindrances, you go drowsy and go a lot of thinking. Then you go back to preliminary concentration. Right? You go back to preliminary concentration, and you go back to also preliminary sign, because your visualization disappear. It disappear because it's affected there. So you keep on trying. You gotta keep on trying until your visualized sign becomes more stable. Becomes more stable, and then your hindrances become less and less. It doesn't affect you that much. Then when it doesn't hear, it already, right? It begins to go into the excess concentration. So you try with your mindfulness, and you keep on trying, again, and you do this samatha, and then you're going to drop again, come out again, drop again, come out again. And then things will become peaceful, things will become clear. So as long as you can able to visualize the sign, and as long as your your concentration is not affected by all the hindrances, that means you are in the excess concentration, and you're at the learning sign, a very clear, more clearer, still at the learning sign, but not a counterpart yet, but you're still at the learning sign. Okay? So then you keep on trying. You keep on trying and trying and trying over time. Over time, then this counterpart sign, the counterpart sign, that means the very much more clearer visualization of the earth, of the plate of the earth, or the tray of the round tray of the earth. You can able to visualize this so much more clearer. That means that the visualization is unblemished. It is totally very clear. It's not like when you comes into the learning signs, sometimes visualization, and you visualize, then sometimes you visualize the worm coming out, Sometimes visualize, oh, the plate crack at the side, for example. That means the visualization, it's not stable yet. The thing is not strong yet. So you got to try again and again until the earth becomes very clear to you. So become very clear to you, then that time, of course, the hindrances also not there. The visualization becomes so clear, then you hold on to that visualization as best as you can. Now, that time when it's become very clear, it's called the counterpart sign. Okay? So it's called the counterpart sign. So you have the development, you have the sign. All right? Then, with the counterpart sign here, all right, with the counterpart sign here, then when you are ready, your mind is ready, then you make an adhitthana, or, well, sometimes some people don't have to, they can able to begin to enter into the first jhana. Enter into the first jhana, right? So they can, so from preliminary concentration, from the excess concentration, and to the absorption concentration. AB here is absorption, AC is excess, PR is the preliminary, LN is the learning, CP is the counterpart. Right? So here the first jhana, you can go here, the first jhana here. Hopefully you all can see, hopefully you all can see. All right? Okay. So here, the first jhana, you can able to enter the first jhana. Well and good, wonderful. Well and good, wonderful. So, this earth element, not earth element, earth kasina. This earth kasina, you can able to attain from first jhana to the fifth jhana. Now here the fifth jhana, because I take it out from the Abhidhamma. This is from the Bhikkhu Bodhi, the comprehensive manual of Abhidhamma. So I taken out this chart here because it's it put everything together, which is good. But here, as I said, in the Abhidhamma, they mention about 5 jhana. But since we are talking here using the sutta type, then we have 4 jhana. So first to the 4th jhana is perfectly all right. So here the earth kasina here, you can able to attain from first jhana to the 4th jhana or 5th jhana from the Abhidhamma term. So again here, all these earth jhana, earth kasina, water kasina, air kasina, then here blue, yellow, red, white. Blue again here, when you say blue color, then you use a disc which is blue in color. And then you have a disc of yellow in color, a disc of red in color, a disc of white in color. Then the disc itself has, again, similar like the earth kasina thing. Space kasina, here you must able to see a space, like a space that is like a hole, like a hole, a clear hole that is surrounded by materiality. Then there's a hole there, a clear hole. Then you use it as a space kasina. Light kasina, people start off with, for example, a candlelight. A candlelight. And of course, during the time, the candlelight must be very still. You cannot be like have a wind blowing here and there and so on. So something like that, the kasina thing. So all the kasina, you can have preliminary concentration, excess concentration, absorption concentration. Then you have first to the 5th jhana. Okay, so kasina, you already have 10 types of meditation. Okay, now we go to the next one, the foulness. Corpse, dismembered corpse, eaten corpse, scattered corpse, mutilated corpse, bloody corpse, worm-infested corpse, skeleton corpse. You can choose whichever corpse you want, You can find this thing, this foulness of the body. Again, you can find it in the Satipatthana Sutta or the Mahasatipatthana Sutta. Under the Kayanupassana Satipatthana, under the bodily, the body part. So you can find that here in that sutta there are only 9, but in the commentary they add another one. Bloated corpse. What do you mean by bloated corpse? Bloated corpse here. This one is that you have to remember this time is you are in the Buddha's time. During the Buddha's time, corpses or the dead ones, they are not buried in 6 feet underground, not like right now. Those time, they are wrapped in the cloth, and they're wrapped in the cloth, and then they're put in what they call a charnel ground. So if you want to go and learn about how the corpse looks like, then you have to go to the charnel ground, which is of course very smelly, and you have to look at the corpse. How is the bloated corpse? Bloated corpse is about 2 or 3 days old. After you don't, if you don't embalm the person who is already the deceased one, after you have 3 days, you see that the stomach and the hands and this one is already bloated. Nowadays, when we have all this lockdown, the Chinese only have like very fast 1 day, 1 night, and then the next day is already, already funeral. Other days, other times we have like under 3 days, and some people under 5 days. Some people under 1 week. Wow. Those with the 1 week one or 5 days one, sometimes you could see that the corpses are already bloated, although they put some dry ice inside there. Yeah? And sometimes you can see that, you can smell the corpse also. Yeah? So how, when you take this thing, then again, when you take these things, then again here, all this this is the semicolon here. Here, all these things, that means you have, you can able to gain preliminary concentration, you can gain excess concentration, you also can gain absorption concentration. You have a preliminary sign, learning sign, and a counterpart sign also, but you can only achieve the first jhana only. Yeah? You can only the first jhana. All these things you can able to achieve the first jhana only. Yeah? This one is especially useful, for those people with a lot of lust, especially like monks or nuns, that you don't have any of opposite sex. Then sometimes the lustful thoughts comes up. If the mind cannot able to control these things, then you have to use this the bloated corpse or discolored corpse or the foulness. Here the 10 channel ground contemplation. Yeah? Then it helped to overcome those lust. So which one is you feel that it's giving you the most impact on? So take note of it now. So if it's a bloated corpse, you meditate on it, and then you find that the corpse become, you watch it now. You watch it with the eyes, and then after that you close your eyes, and then the corpse is right in your mind, and it becomes clearer and clearer until you enter into the first jhana. So it's very helpful. Okay, we go to the next one. Again, the recollection. Recollection, we have also like 10 types of recollection. That's 10 types of meditation that's connected to recollection. Again, temperament, we talk about this temperament maybe on another day. Basically, there are 6 types of temperament. So those people who are stronger in the hateful temperament, then the the blue kasina, yellow kasina, red kasina, white kasina, it's good for you. But if you have, but anybody also can practice the all. All here means all forms of temperament. Also, you can use this. Lustful temperament, that means you use more things which is more ugly. Then it helps to overcome the lust, because that you want to see things beautiful. So you counter it with seeing something which is ugly, unpleasant, or non-beautiful. So you use this one. Now, again, you have 6 types of temperament mentioned in the text. You have a greed temperament or lustful temperament. Then you have hatred, anger temperament or hatred temperament. Then you have a deluded temperament. On the wholesome side, you have those ones. You see that under recollection, you have a faithful temperament. You have more of a speculative temperament, and then you have intellectual, more of a wise temperament. So recollection here, then this is like you recollect on the qualities of the Buddha, the one that you chant iti piso bhagawa and all that. Then the Dhamma, then soakato bhagavata, then sangha subatipano bhagavata. Then this is when you recollect the qualities, and you must able to understand the quality. Okay. Now you see this recollection when you have Buddha, Dhamma, and here morality, generosity, devas. Then you can see that they can only have preliminary excess concentration, but you see the triple dot here. The triple dot. The triple dot here, they don't have. You cannot have any form of jhana. You see, and the jhana here, as they put it as none. All right, you could put it as none. So because if you don't have fixed concentration, of course you have no jhana. So also you don't have counterpart sign. You see, you don't have counterpart sign. You don't have fixed concentration. There you don't have a jhana here, right? So here the Buddha Nusati is that you have to recollect. You have to recollect because I think because of that recollection, you have to remember the qualities of the Buddha. Because of that remembering, the nature of the meditation is quite gross. It is comparatively to the earth kasina and all that thing, they are very much more simple and much more, simple in the sense of to the mind, not simple to practice. Simple because it's a kind of like a simple object. Whereas Buddha Nusati, you have to think about the qualities of the Buddha. That thinking makes that meditation becomes gross, rough in a sense. Therefore, it cannot able to enter into this one. Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha. Then you have morality, generosity, and the devas here. I'm not going to be able to explain everything, although I could able to explain it, but it takes a lot of time. Sometimes if you want to know about how to do this recollection, then what you all can do also, you go into my past talks where I cover on the Satipatthana Sutta, and when we cover on that Satipatthana Sutta, especially then in the Kayanupasana, then when this recollection, and then I talk about the different types of meditation. So, like especially the talk about the this one, the foulness. Then other parts also I talk about how you can recollect the Buddha, the Dhamma, the Sangha, and sometimes also in retreats also. I also do the, just before we start off with the Dhamma talk, we do a short guided meditation. And one of the short guided meditation is recollection on the qualities of the Buddha. And you recollect them. And of course, if you want to know how to do it, then again, you can go back to my past talks where, again, you have to download it to listen. It's just only about 10-15 minutes on how to recollect on the Buddha's virtue, and the Dhamma's virtue or Sangha's virtue. So this one, it doesn't go into absorption, all right? Now, peace here. Now, the peace here, you can see the word peace here. Now, the peace here, it's reflecting on the qualities of Nibbana. Not just any form of peace, not just any form of quietness only, but reflecting on the qualities of the Nibbana. It is said that you must have Nibbana in the first place, But I think that you can still able to do it if you don't have Nibbana, but if you understand the qualities of the Nibbana. Here is more people who are more intellectual. Intellectual here doesn't mean that you are smart and so on. And here is that meaning that you are more inclined to wisdom. You are more inclined to wisdom. So again, because it's a reflection, it doesn't go into absorption. It doesn't go into absorption, therefore you don't have counterpart sign, therefore you don't have any jhana. Okay? Right. Then recollection on death. Recollection on death also sometimes we do it in the sense that you recollect on the death, to bring about that sense of urgency. Then again, you see they don't have a absorption. They cannot go into absorption because it's a recollection. Recollection of the body here, this one is different. Recollection of the body here, this is the 32 parts of the body. That again, you can find it in the Satipatthana Sutta. Here again is for the lustful temperament, because you begin to reflect on the head hair, body hair, nail, teeth, skin, sinews, and lungs, and stomach, and things like that. So 32 parts of the body. Sometimes also I do it also in the 32 parts of body together with the yogis. And then here, 32 parts of the body, you can have absorption. You can see you can have absorption here. But you can have, you can also have counterpart sign, but you only can have first jhana only. You can have first jhana only. That means 32 parts of the body here, you can have 32 jhanas. You can have 32 jhanas even in the contemplation of the body, but we put it as under one. But if you can really do it, you can able to go up to 32 jhanas. Okay, for this one body. Now breathing here is your anapanasati. Anapanasati. Now anapanasati is those people who are deluded and discursive. Discursive means you are speculative. Why breathing is for this temperament is because that breathing holds the concentration together. Deluded temperament like to wander the mind off into all kinds of nonsense. Whereas discursive temperament, that means the speculative temperament, then the mind also on the wholesome level, it likes to go and think, it likes to go and imagining and so on, Then you got to pull the mind back into the anapana, breathing. That's why it's good for them. Here, in this anapana, then you have absorption also. You have a counterpart sign. You have a first to the fifth jhana or the first to the fourth jhana, depending on whether abhidhamma or not. You're talking about abhidhamma or talking about sutta. So, you're already four. Now, illimitables. Here, illimitables means without boundary. You can go, you spread it as far as you can. Then you have metta, karuna, mudita, and upekkha. Here is good for those who are hateful temperament, but does not mean that if you are not a hateful temperament, you cannot do. You still can do, but it's good to able to overcome those people with a strong tendency towards hate. Then here, you see, you can have absorption, you can have, but there's no counterpart sign. You see? You can have absorption, but you don't have counterpart sign. Now you see, here in the, let's say, the loving kindness, let's say we think about loving kindness. You want to start off with the loving kindness, then sometimes some teachers recommend to you is that you take up somebody who is, you have a certain degree of respect and a certain degree of faith, and then you kind of like imagine him or imagine her, and then you are spreading your loving kindness. That means you're spreading your goodwill, your good wishes towards him or towards her. Okay? Then for some people that you find that spreading in this way, it gives rise to strong sense of metta, a strong sense of metta, which is good. If you want to start off with that, also you can. If you want to start off with non-personalized in that sense, if you want to start off with non-personalized, then for example, you can start off with like a general group of people rather than one person. Of course, with the one person also, it's recommended you start off with yourself and then start off with somebody you respect too. Then if you want to start off with a more of a general, non-individualized, that means you start off with yourself. After that, you start off with a group of people around you, and then you further up and then go up and then towards the people around in this, for example, in this town or in this city, in this country or in this state or in this country, and then you go into this world, and then you go into this universe and all beings in all the planes of existence. And you slowly open up. Now that means there's no this one. Another way of doing loving kindness is directional loving kindness. That means directional means north, south, east, west. That one you when you see it in the when you are doing the metta chanting, then you have this. Then you see there's a north. Then you have the in between, northeast, southeast, and so on. So you have to have a directional. And some people, it is good for them. Some people, I find it that that's not so good for me. What is good for me is the general, non-individualized. It's good for me. But for some people, you have a different way of doing it. It's perfectly all right. What is important here in the loving kindness is that you must be able to bring out the sense of that goodwill, the joy, becomes stronger, becomes continuous, becomes clear. That means the heart of metta. The heart of metta, that means the goodwill, it's very smooth and unblemished. Then later part, when you spread it even to your people that you don't really like or you hate, that loving kindness is the same that you spread out to the somebody that you have faith and respect to, or even to yourself, or whichever the person is, or the group of people is, or the group of beings is. So there's no differentiation of whether you are the hatred one or those you are hate or this one. Everything can give rise to the same. Every object can give rise to the same amount of that metta, which is important for that metta, because that metta becomes unblemished, becomes untainted, because unconditional in that sense. Illimitable, that means the metta can reach out to everyone, not just only people that you like and then you don't go, and the people that you don't like, or the beings that you don't like. So it can able to spread out. That's why it's called illimitable, and without boundary. So when you can able to do that, and then some people, sorry to say, some people, they mistaken the metta and the object of their, the object that they to help you to arouse the metta. For example, some people, they begin to visualize the person they respect one. They want to make that one clearer and clearer. Instead of arousing the metta further and further, the heart of metta, they want to make this visualization of the person to become clearer and clearer. And that is not right, because you're missing the what you're supposed to arousing. You're supposed to arouse. Sometimes the vision is become clear, but the metta become empty. Then sometimes some yogis become also like, oh, Bhante, my vision of that person is not so clear. After there, after not there, after here, not there. That one is actually not so important. What is important is that will the metta still be able to be developed? So using that metta, then also, of course, we use the lines also. You use the lines and then to help us to arouse the heart of metta. So many times when I say that when you want to do the metta, you must have the genuineness of your heart in order to do this metta. That means when you wish that may the person be well and happy, that means you must genuinely, sincerely wish the person to be well and happy. If you're not sincere, if you're not genuine, if you're just passing through the lines, you're just passing through, then it will not, the metta will not be effective. You can do it year in, year out, still the same, nothing much. So you must have that genuineness, sincerity of the heart, and you truly mean what you recall in your mind. Those lines, and then you spread it out. Now, when you become to develop this metta further and further, then what you do is that even those lines, you become less. That means you got 4 lines, you become 3 lines, become 2 lines, become 1 line. Even whether the image is there or not there does not matter anymore. as long as the metta is still able to flow. Then even then, you have to, later part, you have to drop those lines, and also you have to drop those visualization of whoever you visualized in the earlier part. Only until the metta, it's streaming right now. It's going continuous streaming, and it's like spreading all over, touching all over whoever or the beings that you are spreading to. Then you do it in this way, and you must not like all the hindrances. As long as it doesn't come in, then you go into what you call the excess concentration, stronger and stronger excess concentration. Then after that, you can, when your mind is ready, then it goes into jhana also. It doesn't have a counterpart. It doesn't have a mirror image. It's just only the quality of the heart. It's a quality of the heart. It's not a visualization in that sense. So you enter it with this quality of the heart, quality of metta, not a visualized object. So that's why you don't have a counterpart object. Then you see, again here, you can only do first to fourth. In the sutta, that means first to third. Okay? In the sutta one, is only first to third. It cannot go to fourth because metta, karuna, and mudita, you need certain kind of joy or happiness to do this thing. You can only do metta, karuna, and all because you need that quality of joy or the happiness or pleasant mental state for you to do this metta. Other than that, if you don't have that, you cannot. That's why you have to be genuine. When you are genuine, when you are sincere, at the background, the joy and the pleasant mental feelings are there. So therefore, you can able to do only first jhana and the fourth jhana. Now the fifth jhana or the fourth jhana of the sutta is only you can do it with equanimity. Equanimity. Here, when you do equanimity, that means you have to do. You got to start off with either with loving kindness, compassion, appreciative joy. You cannot straight away do equanimity with first jhana, second jhana, third jhana, because equanimity does not have joy, doesn't have this one. So you only can able to develop for fifth jhana only. In order for fifth equanimity to develop, that means you have to do a loving kindness practice, for example, 1, 2, 3 already. When you are done already, then after that you want to go to the fourth jhana of these illimitables. Then you drop this one. You use that concentration. You develop into equanimity, something like that. You have to jump from the jhana of loving kindness or compassion or appreciative joy here, in order for you to get equanimity here. Okay? So far, hopefully you can understand. Because as I said, just now, different types of meditation have a different way of development. Okay? Now, here, this is, so altogether we got 34 already right now. So perception is 35. Food as loathsome. Again, this is a reflection. It's a perception. Therefore, you don't have absorption. You don't have absorption. You don't have absorption. You don't have a fixed concentration. You don't have counterpart sign. Therefore, you don't have jhana. So again here, 4 elements. 4 elements means earth, wind, fire, this one. But this earth, wind, fire is different from the kasina, The 4 elements here, the 4 material elements, here you reflect it in such a way. You recall, let's say, the head hair. Head hair, now you're not seeing the foulness of the head hair, but now you see only the hardness of the head hair. Head hair, hard. Reflecting on the head hair, then it's hard. Oh, head hair is hard, 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 hard. Or earth, 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 in that sense. Then you reflect on the blood, for example. The blood is a liquid, and then liquid is a water element. A water element, then you reflect this, you recall this blood, and then you just reflect on it. Earth, water, 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 because it's a reflection. Therefore, again, you cannot enter into any jhana. Food as loathsome. This is not your normal reflection before eating food. Food as loathsome. Here it means that you recollect your food, the difficulty of obtaining a food. That means you have to go through especially like monks, we have to go out for pinapat or dana and so on. And then people have to give to you, and then you have to go through whether rain or shine and everything. And then sometimes you get this food or that food, and then you reflect that inside the body, it has to churn everything, and then it has to come out, and then tomorrow you have to do all over again the same thing. Then it says very burdensome. Then you reflect that food is as loathsome. So again, here is a reflection. So reflection doesn't go into this one. So infinite space, infinite consciousness, nothingness, neither perception nor non-perception. Immaterial state here. These are again, this is the arupa jhana. The arupa jhana, that means you want to reach infinite space consciousness. This is the fifth jhana, sixth jhana, seventh jhana, eighth jhana. They also falls under samatha, in the sense that it can be achieved by some way of samatha. But this one, you need at least a fourth jhana. From a sutta perspective, you need a fourth jhana. All right. Without the fourth jhana, you cannot do this infinite space consciousness, nothingness, or non-perception. That means your fourth jhana, you want to go to a fifth jhana, and then infinite. Firstly, you go to the infinite space first. So here, like say, if you take out the in-breath, out-breath, and then you come out from the fourth jhana, and then you still have the vision or visualization of that in-breath, out-breath, and then you remove that vision to see that the mind, there's as if like the visualization of space in front of you. And the space gets bigger and bigger and bigger until it's boundless. Immaterial, infinite. It's just space only, no matter how the mind look. So it's called infinite space, sorry. Infinite space. You see the whole infinite space, and then your mind becomes big and becomes spacious, and then when you're ready, then you enter and also in this one. This one also don't have a counterpart sign. You have fixed concentration, but doesn't have this one. First, IS here is immaterial states jhana. First, second, third, fourth. That means arupa jhana. So altogether, there are 8 jhana. So this is something like this. Something like that. 40 types of jhana. Actually, I want to talk about this thing a little bit before you all go. So now you give a bit of understanding of jhana, and understanding that it is good, because understand different types of jhana. Like earlier on, we understand there is a preliminary concentration, excess concentration, or absorption concentration, because when you understand this, when you attain it, when you're able to attain them, then you have a different karmic resultant. Karmic resultant means a different karmic rebirth. Different karmic rebirth, and therefore it is important for us to know. Perhaps you may not able to do it, but at least know lah. At least know. You cannot practice it, does not matter. But there's some things also, if you practice it, if you have the time, then it's good. Now, but before we go, again, last 1 month ago, maybe, I talk about when one enters into Nibbana, then one have to go through a series of consciousness. Like when we talk about the insight leading to emergence, then there's a series of consciousness that we have to go through. Then this time, when you come out from this, whether it's anicca, dukkha, or anatta, when you see this anicca, dukkha, anatta, then it goes into vibrating bhavanga, then arresting bhavanga. That means arresting means it stop the process, it stop all the whether it's anicca, dukkha, anatta, it stops there. And then after that, it starts with the mind adverting consciousness. Then you have preliminary access, conformity, change of lineage here. That means you change from Putu Jhana to Arya if you are in the first stage of enlightenment. Then after that, you have path consciousness, friction consciousness, then you go into bhavanga again. So path consciousness here, it eradicates the defilements here. Now here also path consciousness, which I forgot to label it green in color. So average mental faculty, a keen mental faculty, it all doesn't matter here. It's just that one thing is missing is that the PR here, the preparation consciousness is missing here. So it does not matter. What I'm trying to here to show you is that entering into jhana and entering into enlightenment or path and friction also, they are very similar. It's just as similar in the sense of the consciousness are similar. But the resultant is very different. Of course, when you have insight, then the resultant is that you're going to stop your birth and rebirth. Whereas when samatha one, if you can able to do it, you have a potential to reborn in the Brahma planes of existence, and for a long time, you're going to be very, very happy, super happy. But you are still in samsara. Now here, when you talk about samatha absorption here, an average person and a very keen person, again, slightly different. Again, you see the PR also is different. Here also, you have an average mental faculty, keen mental faculty. There's one PR, preparation consciousness is different. So they are very similar. So again, you have excess concentration, you have conformity, then you have change of lineage. Change of lineage here, like yesterday we talked about, is Gotrabu. Gotrabu consciousness, Gotrabu chitta, or change of lineage consciousness. They call it change of lineage. It's not because you change from Ariyat or Putujana to Ariya. That one belongs to insight. In Samatha, we call it the change of lineage. It's because you change from central consciousness into a fine material consciousness to a Brahma consciousness in that sense. It's still called a change of lineage, but it's changed from a central consciousness, like we are in the central consciousness, but into a Brahma or a fine material consciousness. Rupa Chitta, or Rupa Chitta in that sense. Or Arupa, if you are doing a higher level of Samatha meditation here. So entering here, again, for some people, they can able to see the consciousness come and go, arise, pass away, until they can able to see the jhana. So this is the first time you enter jhana. After the JH jhana here, then you will drop into bhavanga again. So the first time when you enter into jhana, you cannot able to sustain it for long. So what you do is that you have to repeat this again and again. You got to repeat it as again and again until you can have this Jhana consciousness repeatedly, instead of going into Bhavanga, it can go into J, JH, 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 JH. It can go in for a long period of time. That means you can able to maintain it for a longer period of time. So here, Samatha Jhana process absorption and the insight level, they are parallel. They are parallel, they are the same. They are not the same, but they are in the kind of like they are similar in the entering. They are similar in the entering. So the whole Samatha practice and the whole Vipassana practice, you can have, in the Vipassana also, you can have like a momentary concentration, which is equivalent to excess concentration. You have preliminary concentration. You also have preliminary concentration in the samatha. You have fixed concentration in the in the vipassana. You also have fixed concentration in the, and even when you want to enter the absorption process or enter into nibbana or jhana or nibbana, also they looks the same. They looks the same. So a lot of time people thought that vipassana and jhana is very different, but they are parallel. It's just that the objective, they are different. The objective is very different. And of course, how the path looking at anicca, dukkha, anatta, or looking at the different nimitta, that one which is not anicca, dukkha, anatta, then they are in the sense of they are very parallel. Okay? We're going to come back on this thing a little bit more because I think now it's already 10:10 already. Now I'm going to talk about that I think next week. What do you mean by a mastery in the jhana? The reason I talk about this topic, because we are still in the Noble Eightfold Path. And Noble Eightfold Path is the fourth of the fourth noble truth. And the fourth noble truth, everything is about cultivation. So you must at least know what to cultivate, how to cultivate, when to cultivate. I mean, there are different types to things for you to cultivate. So if you just only cultivate vipassana, then at least if you don't cultivate samatha, but at least you know there is a way to cultivate samatha. If you only want to cultivate samatha and you do not want to know how to do vipassana, at least later part, you must know how to do a vipassana too, because you want to get into enlightenment. So it is important for us to know at least some of these things. All right, we'll continue this on next week, Monday. So on Friday, we're going to have a Q&A session. We're going to talk about, we're going to have Q&A session. If you have questions, then again, you start to send it out to Brother Benny. You send it out to Brother Benny, and we will discuss on that. I think Brother Benny will, or Sister Hunling will put in the phone number in the chat. All right. Now, okay, enough. I puncture already now. Okay, share merits.